Good evening, welcome, and I welcome everyone into the Stars of India Forum. आज हमारे साथ हैं इस देश के सबसे प्रतिष्ठित पद से रिटायर हुए B.N. Shahi ji, who is a renowned Indian cardiologist and retired as a Lieutenant General in the Indian Armed Forces in 2002. He was also appointed as Director General of the Armed Forces Medical Services. इनकी लाइफ, इनकी हिस्ट्री, आपका एजुकेशन और आपका पर्सनालिटी, ये सभी के लिए आज प्रेरणा का स्रोत बना हुआ है। आज हम स्टार्स ऑफ इंडिया सर को वेलकम करती है और सर का सबसे ज्यादा थैंक्स करती है कि सर ने अपने बिजी शेड्यूल होते हुए भी हम लोगों को समय दिया। सर, आई वेलकम यू।
धन्यवाद, धन्यवाद सुश्री इभा और सर आपके सहयोगी अमित कि आपने इस कार्यक्रम में हमें बुलाया और सम्मान दिया। ये बिहार स्वाभिमान आंदोलन के संदर्भ में शायद यह प्रोग्राम आप कर रही हैं। मुझे ये कहना है कि बिहार का जो इतिहास है, जो स्वाभिमान है, उसका तो कोई पैरेलल हमारे देश में नहीं है। सबसे बड़ी संस्कृति, सबसे बड़ा और स्वर्णमयी इतिहास हमारे बिहार का रहा है। यही प्रदेश है जहां बुद्ध ने और महावीर ने केवल कर्म भूमि नहीं बनाया, ज्ञान भूमि भी उनका बना। सम्राट
जी सर, आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा है कि ये बुद्ध का एक उपदेश स्थान रहा है और कर्म भूमि भी स्थापित करी है। सर, आज हमारे इस स्टार्स ऑफ इंडिया में आज हमारे लिए आप एक स्टार हैं, एक शाइनिंग स्टार हैं सर। तो हम आपकी पूरी लाइफ हिस्ट्री, आपका पूरा एजुकेशन और आपके दोनों प्रतिष्ठित पद, बीइंग अ कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट, आपका मेडिकल फील्ड और उसके बाद रिटायर्ड एज अ डीजी, सर ये हम पूरा जानना चाहते हैं। और हमारे जो भी व्यूवर्स सर इसे देख रहे हैं और स्पेशली सर हमारा जो एज ग्रुप स्टूडेंट का है सर, उनके लिए एक मोटिवेशनल सेशन सर हम आपके साथ आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे। सर सबसे पहले बीइंग अ स्टूडेंट सर, आपके कौन इंस्पिरेशंस थे और आपकी ये जो पद्मश्री तक आपका जो जर्नी रहा है सर, ये कैसे आपके माइंड में सर डेवलप हुआ?
देखिए, मैं एक बहुत ही सुदूर बिहार के गांव में पैदा हुआ। इतना छोटा गांव जहां से रेलवे स्टेशन 12 किलोमीटर और डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर 18 किलोमीटर होता था। वहां मेरा जन्म हुआ और वहीं के स्कूल में, मिडिल स्कूल में, घर में थोड़ी मैंने पढ़ाई की और उसके बाद सीधे मैं 5वीं क्लास में चला गया और 2 साल में मैंने मिडिल पास किया। और उसके बाद उत्तर बिहार के सबसे प्रसिद्ध हाई स्कूल केआर हाई स्कूल में मैं उसी स्कूल से गया। मैं थोड़ी सी आपको अपने मिडिल स्कूल की कहानी बताता हूँ।
जी सर, बिल्कुल।
घर से 2 किलोमीटर दूर पर मिडिल स्कूल था जहाँ पगडंडी से मैं रोज स्कूल में जाता था। हमारे जो सहपाठी थे वो बिना चप्पल जूता पहने आते थे पैदल। हम चूंकि संभ्रांत परिवार के थे तो टिफिन के लिए मेरी माँ पराठे, पूड़ियाँ और हलवा हमारी झोली में डालती थी और टिफिन में हम लोग एक मंदिर में जाकर सब बच्चे वहाँ टिफिन करते थे और हमें बड़ा शर्म लगता था। वो बच्चे पफ्ड राइस, भुजिया जिसको बोलते हैं बिहार में, नमक और मिर्च, वो लाते थे स्कूल में, खाते थे और हमें हलवा और पूरी खाना हमें बहुत ग्लानि होती, हमें बहुत शर्म आती। तो हमने माँ से कहा एक हफ्ते के बाद कि मैं वही खाऊंगा जो हमारे सहपाठी खाते हैं। और 7वें 8 दिन से मैं भी वही लेकर जाने लगा जो हमारे सहपाठी खाते हैं। और 10 दिन के बाद मैंने अपना जूता भी खोल दिया क्योंकि हम सोचते थे कि हमारे सभी दोस्त बिना जूता के जाते हैं, मैं भी बिना जूता के ही जाऊंगा। तो इस तरह से हमारी मिडिल स्कूल की कहानी खत्म हुई और उसके बाद मैं अपने जिले के सुप्रसिद्ध, नॉर्थ बिहार के इनफैक्ट सुप्रसिद्ध हाई स्कूल, क्राइस्ट राजा हाई स्कूल, जो रोमन कैथोलिक्स द्वारा संचालित होता था, उसमें हमने एडमिशन लिया और
जी
उसके छात्रावास में रहने लगा। मैं ये गर्व के साथ कहना चाहता हूं कि अनुशासन की दीक्षा हमारे स्कूल से मिली। आज हमें याद है कि वहां एक डिबेट होता था जिसमें सारे हाई स्कूल्स के स्टूडेंट्स आते थे, सिलेक्टेड स्टूडेंट्स, वहां डिबेट होता था, साल में एक दफे डिबेट होता था।
जी जी
मैंने भी
सर।
10वीं क्लास में उस डिबेट में, डिस्ट्रिक्ट के डिबेट में मैं चुना गया था अपने स्कूल से, और विषय था सक्सेस इज 99% परस्पिरेशन एंड 1% इंस्पिरेशन। और उस डिबेट में डिस्ट्रिक्ट में मेरा प्रथम स्थान मिला और भारी भीड़ में ये अवार्ड मिलने से मुझे बहुत खुशी हुई। जब मैं लौट के आया तो हमारे जो सहपाठी थे वो मुझसे पूछते थे कि मेहनत की बात तो हम लोग जानते हैं, पसीना को निकालना, मेहनत करना, परस्पिरेशन, लेकिन इंस्पिरेशन क्या है? तो मैंने उनको बताया कि देखो, इंस्पिरेशन इंजन है, जैसे एक बस है और बस में इंजन होती है जो तुम्हें गंतव्य स्थान तक पहुंचाती है, उसी तरह इंस्पिरेशन तुम्हारे हर एम को पूरा करती है। अगर तुम इंस्पायर्ड नहीं हो तो कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते। केवल मेहनत करने से कुछ नहीं होता, इंस्पिरेशन होनी चाहिए। जैसा कि हमारे दिवंगत राष्ट्रपति कलाम ने कहा था
जी सर।
कि स्वप्न वो है जो आदमी रात में देखता, वो स्वप्न नहीं है। असली स्वप्न तो आपके का है जो आप दिन में देखते हैं, और उस स्वप्न को साकार करने के लिए सब तरह से मेहनत करते हैं। तो उस तरह का जो ज्ञान है कि हमें एक लक्ष्य को लेके चलना है और वो बनना है, वो बहुत जरूरी है। उस जमाने में डॉक्टर्स जो होते थे, समाज अच्छे डॉक्टर्स, फिजिशियंस और सर्जन हैं, उनकी बड़ी इज्जत होती थी, बड़ी इज्जत होती थी। उन्हें लोग भगवान की तरह मानते थे। और हमारे नॉर्थ बिहार में जहां हम थे, वहां पर एक प्रसिद्ध फिजिशियन थे जिनका नाम था शीतल प्रसाद सिन्हा। बिहार में सब लोग जानते थे उनको, और मैं चाहता था कि वही मैं बनूं। वो मेरे आइकन थे।
जी जी सर।
हम कहे कि हमको शीतल बाबू, वो प्रसिद्ध थे शीतल बाबू के नाम से, वही हमें बनना है। मैं 64 में MBBS दरभंगा मेडिकल कॉलेज से ऑनर्स और डिस्टिंक्शन के साथ मैंने पास किया।
क्या बात है।
ये ऑनर्स और डिस्टिंक्शन बहुत कम लोगों को मिलता है, मुझे मिला। और 64 में हमारी भारतीय सेना को जो डिबैकल हुआ था चाइना में, उसके बाद हमारी आर्म फोर्सेस का रीऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो रहा था और डॉक्टर्स की बड़ी कमी थी।
अच्छा।
तो मैंने सोचा कि क्यों ना एज डॉक्टर बन के मैं देश की कुछ सेवा करूं, देखूं ये आर्म फोर्सेस में क्या है, क्या अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है, कैसा इसका वातावरण है। तो मैंने ज्वाइन कर लिया। परिवार के लोगों ने बहुत अपोज किया, लेकिन मैं आर्मी, उनके विचार के विरुद्ध मैंने आर्मी में ज्वाइन किया। तो आर्मी ज्वाइन करने के बाद मैं कभी पीछे नहीं देखा। हमें सब तरह की जो भी चुनौतियां थी, सब में हमें बहुत ही बड़ा सक्सेस मिला। मैं मेडिकल MD करने के लिए, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट करने के लिए, मेरे मेडिसिन में हमें इंटरेस्ट था। मैं
जी
पुणे यूनिवर्सिटी में हमारा सिलेक्शन हुआ। वो भी सिलेक्शन तब हुआ जबकि 5 साल मैं फील्ड एरिया में, असम और इस तरह के बिहार एरिया में मैंने एज ए मेडिकल ऑफिसर हमने काम किया था।
जी
वहां
सर।
भी मेडिसिन का काम करना होता था, लेकिन साधारण तरह का काम होता था।
जी
उसके
जी
बाद
सर।
हम पूना गए और पूना यूनिवर्सिटी से हमने 2 साल में एमडी की परीक्षा पास की, वो भी गोल्ड मेडल के साथ। यही नहीं, चूंकि ये गोल्ड मेडल हमें मिला था, मैं टॉपर था, तो हमें टॉप आर्म फोर्सेज मेडिकल कॉलेज में 2 साल लेक्चरर के शिक्षण देने का भी हमें अवसर मिला। तो मैं वहाँ 2 साल तक टीचिंग किया, मेडिसिन में टीचिंग किया, और उसके बाद हम आ गए। सबसे पहले हमारी फिजिशियन की पोस्टिंग तेजपुर में हुई, जो असम में है। आजकल तो वहाँ बहुत यूनिवर्सिटी भी हो गया, मेडिकल कॉलेज भी हुआ, लेकिन उस समय तेजपुर में जो मेडिकल की व्यवस्था थी वो बहुत ही प्रिमिटिव थी। और मैं फिजिशियन था, और मेरे साथ एक और फिजिशियन था जो वहाँ का एमएलए था, रोविन गोस्वामी, लेकिन वो चूंकि पॉलिटिक्स में था इसलिए बहुत उस समय मरीजों को नहीं दे सकता था। और हमसे उसकी काफी मित्रता थी रोविन गोस्वामी की। तो हम बाहर के लोगों को भी हम जो अपना कंसल्टेशन है वो देते रहे, और कंसल्टेशन की का दायरा इतना बढ़ा कि केवल तेजपुर नहीं, एक मंगलदायी जगह है, वहां से लेके नॉर्थ लखीमपुर, गुवाहाटी, सब जगह से पेशेंट मेरे पास आने लगे। और वहां के जो आर्मी के हेड थे, कोर कमांडर, उनको, वो भी लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल होते हैं, उनको हमने कहा, लोगों ने कहा कि इनको रोज 2 घंटे का अवसर दीजिए कि हम लोगों को भी कंसल्टेशन ये दे सके। तो ये परमिशन हमने आर्मी से ली कि 2 घंटे हम सिविलियंस को, जो हमारे असम के लोग हैं, उनको भी मैं अपना उचित सलाह दे सकूं। और ये बहुत बड़ा हमें इससे सेटिस्फेक्शन हुआ। इतना सेटिस्फेक्शन हुआ कि एक दिन वहां के जो क्रिश्चियन कम्युनिटी के हेड थे, वो मेरे पास आए, और उन्होंने कहा कि आपके लिए मैं एक हॉस्पिटल बना रहा हूं जो कि रिमोट एरिया में है, और वहां पर हमको ले गए। उन्होंने कहा कि जो कुछ भी चाहिए वो आपको हम देंगे, लेकिन आप यहाँ पर आ जाइए। हमने कहा कि देखिए, मैं आर्मी में हूँ और अभी समय नहीं है मेरे लिए, अभी तो मेरी 7-6 साल की ही नौकरी हुई है, मैं इसके बारे में विस्तृत रूप से सोचूंगा, उसके बाद मैं आपके पास आऊंगा। खैर, मैंने वो ज्वाइन नहीं किया, तब तक हमें लेटर आ गई कि हमारा सिलेक्शन पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट मेडिकल एजुकेशन और रिसर्च चंडीगढ़ में कार्डियोलॉजी के लिए हुआ है। तो मैं वहां से चंडीगढ़ गया, और चंडीगढ़ में वो भी कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन होता था। ऐसे आपको वहां एडमिशन नहीं होता था, बहुत टफ एग्जामिनेशन होता था। 3 सीट के लिए 200 एमडी के स्टूडेंट्स उसमें आते थे, और 3 का सिलेक्शन होता था। लेकिन उस 3 सिलेक्शन में आ गया, और हमारी वहां 2 साल की ट्रेनिंग हुई। सबसे स्मरणीय बात यह है कि डीएम का एग्जामिनेशन, जो कि सबसे कठिनतम एग्जामिनेशन होता है कार्डियोलॉजी का, उस समय तो सबसे कठिनतम था। केवल 3 ही इंस्टीट्यूट थे इंडिया में जो डीएम की डिग्री देते थे, वो पीजीआई चंडीगढ़, ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिकल साइंसेज, और चित्र त्रिनाल त्रिवेंद्रम, यहीं पर। और वो भी सीट होती थी केवल 1 या 2। इसका मतलब है कि हिंदुस्तान में केवल 5 या 6 डीएम ट्रेनिंग कर रहे होते हैं और उनको डिग्री मिलती है। ये थी वहां की उस समय की चैलेंज जो था मेरे समक्ष। 15 दिन इम्तिहान के पहले, परीक्षा के पहले, वो कॉलेज जो इंस्टीट्यूट है, वो जो लोग एग्जामिनेशन देने जाते हैं उनके लिए बंद कर दिया जाता है 2 साल के बाद। इसलिए बंद किया जाता है कि पेशेंट्स जो क्लिनिकल एग्जामिनेशन के लिए होते हैं वो बुलाए जाते हैं, और उनको एडमिट किया जाता है इम्तिहान के लिए। तो लास्ट राउंड था हमारे प्रोफेसर का, और सारे हमारे जो साथ के लोग थे, हमसे जूनियर थे, वो सारे लोग वहां खड़े थे, और प्रोफेसर राउंड ले रहे थे। उन्होंने हमें एक ईसीजी दिया और हमारे हाथ में थमाया कि इसका डायग्नोसिस दीजिए आप। हमने डायग्नोसिस दिया विद इन 30 सेकेंड्स। वो इतने खुश हुए कि उन्होंने ईसीजी के रोल अपने एप्रन के पॉकेट में रखा, और एक बात कही कि when the teacher and the taught are on the same frequency of knowledge, that is the termination of training, and for you today the training comes to an end. And all the faculty were all standing, And they told me, and they all started congratulating me that you have got your DM. I said, well, examination, anything can happen. But this tribute or this to me that the teacher and the taught are on the same frequency of knowledge, that is a great tribute to me. That's a great event for me. Anyway, so that was the one. I passed my DM. After DM, I was appointed as physician to the King of Bhutan. At that time, there was some talk going on that he has got some heart problem. So I was sent there to look after him because we had great relation with India and Bhutan. So I went there. I was there for 2.5 years. I served the people of Bhutan for 2.5 years as a cardiologist. All the ministers, all the people who were in Thimphu those days, they were my patients. And I really created a very good, in fact, excellent Indo-Bhutan relationship. One incident I would like to quote here is there used to be a minister who was very, very important minister of development. He was very active minister of Bhutan and a very important minister of Bhutan. And I was told, the input was given to me when I went to Bhutan, that this minister is pro-Chinese. He is not in favor of India, he is pro-China. So I just kept it with me. एक दिन की बात है कि वो मिनिस्टर, मैं पहाड़ी पर, सब लोग तो पहाड़ी पर ही रखते थे, छोटे छोटे बंगले बने हुए थे. हमारी जो बंगला था उसके थोड़े ऊपर 500 मीटर के नजदीक उनका बंगला था. तो एक दिन शाम को 7 बजे वो दौड़े दौड़े मेरे घर पर आए मिनिस्टर, और उन्होंने कहा कि मेरा एक ही बच्चा है, वो मर गया. मैं दौड़कर उनके घर पर गया. आप सुन रहे हैं?
जी जी सर.
मैं दौड़ते दौड़ते मिनिस्टर के साथ उनके घर पर गया और देखा कि वो बच्चा बेहोश पड़ा है और जो ये मॉन्क होते हैं वो पूजा वगैरह वहां कर रहे हैं. हमने उसको देखा. 1 मिनट में हमें लगा कि ये तो कन्वर्शन है, ये इसको एपिलेप्सी का अटैक हुआ है. और मैंने उसको जो इमीडिएट जो फर्स्ट एड देना था वो किया और उसको अपनी गाड़ी में बैठा के मैं अपने जो हमारा सेटअप था उसमें लाया. और विद इन 5 मिनट्स आई मेड हिम ऑल राइट. ही वाज कॉन्शियस एंड I told him that, look, this was an epilepsy and he will be given medicine and there is nothing to worry. Your only son is safe.
Right.
But in that conversation, I told the minister, here is an Indian doctor who has saved your only child. And I have been told that you are pro-China. How it is? He just caught my feet and he said, it is all wrong information given against me. I am pro-Bhutan, not pro-China. And I am great friend of Bhutan because those days the Chukha Hydel project was going on with the aid of India. So after that, he became a very good friend and he started coming to our Indian parties and started meeting the ambassador and everything. So that was the misconception and misinformation. Sometimes it happens, which creates a wedge between two people, important people, and that wedge may also affect the relationship between two countries. And that was the one incident I can remember where I contributed to strong friendship between India and Bhutan.
So nice of you. So I just like to interrupt you in between. सब हमेशा कहा गया है कि डॉक्टर्स भगवान का रूप होते हैं. लेकिन in the present scenario, if we see the mindset of the people or the common people is changed. Why they think like that doctors are now treating their profession as a business? Sir, why these kinds of thoughts are born or they have hacked the mind of the common people?
I will tell you the fact. Because today in India, we are only 5 people.
Right, sir.
Surviving, who have seen the clinical medicine and the advanced medicine.
Right, sir.
The greatest damage to our profession has been done by corporate sectors. Once the big corporates took over the hospital,
right,
they started, their aim was to earn money. So good doctors, they employed, give lot of money, but lot of money for what? The doctors have to generate the fund for the hospital. You have to generate it. If you don't generate the fund, they cannot give you a package of 2 crores a year or 3 crores a year.
Right.
So the doctors were forced to do unnecessary investigation, unnecessary intervention to earn money for the corporates, because the very simple calculation is like this. If you create 1 crore for a hospital in a corporate sector, you get 20 lakhs, 20%. That is the formula. Right. So that is how the doctors are being driven today to earn more money for the corporate sectors. Second important cause is that all competent doctors, they are either in the corporate sector or they are doing some nursing home or private practice to earn more money. Same thing is happening in All India Institute, the top institute. There also, after they reach the status of a professor, they are leaving and joining corporate hospitals. They are not joining medical colleges, government medical colleges. So government medical colleges, they have got very poor standard of teaching, very, very poor standard of teaching, because teachers are not available. In our days, the teachers in the medical college were the most respected people. But today, nobody wants to be a teacher. They all want to be a doctor to earn more money. And how do you earn more money? By investigating more, by doing unnecessary intervention and treatment. So that is what has happened. That is the ill of the country. Today in Bihar, each district has got a medical college. Where is the need for so many medical colleges? There is no need at all. We had 5 or 6 medical colleges in our time. In fact, after I retired, we had in Bihar a medical college like Ranchi, Patna, Nalanda and all that. Each district hospital is now converted into a medical college. And what is the state of affair? There is no teacher. Or the teacher who is appointed, he comes from Patna. He may spend half an hour or he doesn't come, he just puts these attendance and goes back. In our days, the teachers were available for ward rounds. For hours together, they used to teach us in the ward. We used to work in the ward. Today, nobody is working. So the standard of medicine or the medical education is going to suffer a lot in the coming days. That is why the people do not have respect for the doctors. They do not have respect.
More, I would like to add, like it's been more than 6 years I've worked in the medical department, in the ministry also, as well as the state also. So the perception and the mindset of the doctors are also becoming like, now it's a thankless profession. So is it like that?
That is the, impression of the society. I may be very good, but I am part of that medical group. Profession as such, I am a member of the profession. I may be one among the 100, but the creation of the environment by the profession is going to affect me. So that is what has happened. You go to a doctor, and we are also to blame. You go, say, All India Institute is a government hospital. If you got a problem, you have to wait for 8 to 10 hours. What the doctors also can't do anything, because there is such a long list. They can't give time. So all these things have changed the professional scenario of our country. And that is why my own advice is to the government and the society that you don't create medical colleges. You create good subdivisional and district hospitals good primary centers, give safe water supply to your people, give vaccination to all children, give nutritional support to expectant mothers, give protein nutrition to children, and create primary health centers so that people can go there for minor problems. If you do that, you will find there is no need for many people to flock a secondary hospital or go to a hospital for bypass surgery or cancer treatment or all big things. India, with 130 plus crore people, needs primary and secondary care. And that is only possible if the government has a will to do the preventive care. You have gone to a hospital, you come to any hospital, you will find a shop, they are selling tobacco, they are selling cigarettes, they are selling alcohol. There is no ban. How can you prevent disease, cancer, heart diseases? All are related to these things. Fast foods. Now everywhere you go, you find fast foods, potato chips, and all sort of things, so-called fast foods, which is creating a problem. No, I can't hear you. I think probably your voice is not audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Mm.
Okay.
So
Sir, you have.
that is the only way our country can do. Otherwise, there is no way out. Primary and secondary care, that is the emphasis for this country. Otherwise, if you want tertiary care, that you open 1,000 cardiac hospitals or cancer hospitals, you will find still a big waiting list because you are not thinking in terms of prevention and secondary care. Why you are not thinking, I know it. You can't ban tobacco. You can't
Right,
ban
sir.
alcohol. Probably Bihar has done it.
Right.
Some few other states also have done it. But why they are not banning it? Why they are not banning tobacco in India? Why? Because of economic reasons.
Right, sir.
Tobacco gives you a lot of revenue. You keep on increase the price of tobacco or cigarettes and people will do it. So for economic reason, you are creating a risk for our population. It cannot. Why the fast foods cannot be banned here? We can have all Indian food. Lot of Indian foods are available, which are very nutritious, like the roasted chana, the bhuja, the puffed rice, many other products which in India is available, which is good for health, and it can also create job. But we are not. We are having all these fast foods because somebody, the multinational, he's buying all the potatoes and creating potato chips, which our children start eating and they fall ill. Another thing is that we were in school. I think you are also very young and recent generation. During our time,
Right,
there
sir.
used to be a period of 45 minutes for exercise in every school. Morning running, PT sort of thing. Where is that gone? That's not there at all. All that is there in the morning, the children go with a heavy bag. They start studying, then they come home, and again there is a big homework. They do not have time to play.
Right, sir.
And that is why now the obesity, overweight in children is going to be an epidemic. And our children are all, most of them, these obese children who are now bound to the computers and all that, they, once they grow, they are going to be diabetic, they are going to be hypertensive, because India is now being considered the capital of diabetes.
Right, sir.
Millions of people will suffer from diabetes because, and this disease, diabetes is mother of all diseases. It breeds diseases. It breeds high blood pressure, it breeds infection, it breeds kidney failure, it breeds kidney and all sort of heart failure, everything. So it is a mother of disease. It's not just because your blood sugar is high. It will just make you hollow. So these are the things we have to think about it. We are not thinking in right direction as far as the health is concerned.
Right, so we can see that in the current scenario, especially the younger age groups, they are suddenly getting captured from the n number of the disease, and they are, in the chain of depression also. I mean,
Of
a lot of the
course.
cases are also coming in the newspapers also at a very early age, because when I discussed with my father and grandfather, they said they never have gone into that scenario also, a depression scenario. So, sir, why this age group is affected with the depression, especially from 18 to 30
Most
age?
important to my mind is that their dreams. Every child has a dream. That dream is not being realized. Is not being realized. I am not talking about 1.1 or 0.2% children who are very brilliant and they are mucking and they are joining all sort of coaching institutes and then probably creating or competing in IITs or All India Institute or good medical colleges. But the problem is that majority of them are not able to realize their goal. Second thing is that our parents have lot of expectations from their children. And when a child is not able to fulfill the expectation of the parents, he goes into depression. You can realize now the parents say that why don't you compete IIT? Why you compete good medical college? What do they do? If they do not realize that or do not achieve that aim, they go into depression. This was the expectation of my uh, parents, and I am not able to do it. What is the
So
use of
I
this
just
life?
would like to interrupt you. So was this your parents' expectation that you should become a cardiac surgeon and join the armed forces as a lieutenant general?
Those days, the pressure on the. I was from a good family,
All right, sir.
no economic problem.
Okay.
Uh, so my parents, when I joined medicine, they said, "All right, if that is your interest, you go ahead." They never asked me to do anything else. They said, "This is the choice. Yes, you do it, and do it well." And probably I did it well. So they didn't sort of drive me that you become this or you become that. No, it was not there at all, because pressure those days was very less, very few students, very few colleges, very no we didn't know any competitive examination in
Okay.
medical colleges. The admission was based on your ISC marks.
Okay.
Yeah, if you got a first class or a high second class, you get admission into the medical college. But today it's not so.
Yes, sir. But
For
today we
100
can see
seats there,
that
yeah,
something around, I think, 1 lakh or 2 lakh students appear, and I don't think more than 1,500 or 2,000 government seats are available in the country.
available. So they go into depression. So now the private medical colleges have come up. This is another cancer
Right, sir.
in the society. Is another cancer. Except for one or two private medical colleges like Manipal Group and all that, the rest of them are only churning money. They are money printing machines. What can you do? You go into, you give 25 lakhs and get admission into a medical college. And 4 years you spend about 1 crore. How many people in India can afford to spend 1 crore
Right, sir. It's
for
only
their
a
children?
specific class group.
And if they do not, then they go to some private medical college, which is very poor standard, somehow get the degree of MBBS, and they are back in the society and defame the names of doctors, because they will never become a doctor. They will keep on prescribing everything like a jhola chap doctor. You know that they have no knowledge, but they are there in villages and prescribing everything that is possible. So that is what is come. So this is the problem of depression. When you do not realize your aim, you get depressed.
Yes, sir. So one thing more now, I would really like to discuss about the journey of your Padma Bhushan. This is one of the most prestigious award and
of course.
your
So as I
extraordinary
told you,
achievement.
after my DM, I went to Bhutan, where I played my role as a cardiologist and also as a facilitator for India-Bhutan relationship, because that is also a job when you are working in a foreign country, that you must create an environment of goodness and friendship between the two countries. That's what I did. After that, I came back to Delhi. I came back to Delhi in 1984, April, as a lieutenant colonel.
Okay.
And I stayed here for 20 years in all posts, from colonel to a full colonel to a brigadier to a major general and to the final lieutenant general. So all the ranks, top rank I got in Delhi. I couldn't be displaced because I had left such a record that everybody wanted me to work in that sort of setup. I will tell you, I will share with you.
Yeah,
One
sure,
day in the
definitely,
evening,
sir.
I was sitting in Tyagaraja Marg. That was my clinic called Armed Forces Clinic. I was a brigadier then. I get a ring from the defense secretary that me and the chief wants to see you. I was a little surprised. It was 5 o'clock. And at 5 o'clock, the chief was Shankar Rai Chaudhary and defense secretary was Nambiar. Both of them came to my office. And the chief just told me, Ki Shahi, we want you to head this RR hospital. We have constructed a big hospital in Delhi, but we are not satisfied with its working. So we want your acceptance to be the chief of that medical college, as to the hospital as a commandant and director. I said, all right, sir, but one condition. The condition is that I must be given 3 years tenure, so that in 3 years I can realize all I want for the hospital. And they said, all right, in your posting order will be written the posting will be for 3 years. In 3 years, I improved this hospital. I equipped it with the latest that we had those days. And I'm very proud to say that during my time and later on, this hospital became one of the best equipped hospital in the country. I did it. Day and night I worked. I had a very good equation with the Ministry of Defense. Whatever I wanted, I made sure that within 7 days, the entire contract and everything is approved, signed by the concerned person and the order given. It so happened that everything I did within 1 year, I got everything. Everything was equipped in the hospital, and my hospital, RR Hospital, became one of the best hospital in the country. Not only that, when I took over this hospital, it was almost like a barren sort of land, no trees, nothing of this sort. And from the first day onward, I started plantation drive. I said this hospital must look green. And from first day, what I did was that every Sunday, I used to invite all my men, JCOs, and even officers and families, and told them everyone will adopt 5 trees. And I had a staff of more than 2,000. You can imagine people adopting trees. And I set the example that my staff car, I used to have 2 jerrycans where you keep the petrol. I used to tell my driver to fill it with water. The moment I enter my hospital, at the gate, I had adopted 5 trees. So I used to come out of my staff car, catch hold of the jerrycan and give water those 5 plants. The plants are still there, the big trees now. But seeing this, every JCO, every officer and family started watering the plants once in a week or twice in a week. Today, if you have opportunity, today if you have opportunity to go to Army Hospital,
Right.
Such a huge hospital with residential and everything. It looks like a beautiful park with flowering trees, shady trees, everything. Each plant was there during my time. I looked after, my men look after, my officers looked after. So that is the example I told my officers, and the commandant has to set an example for himself. I used to never leave I used to go at 8 o'clock, 8:30 my work is to start, and I never left the hospital before 9 p.m. And in fact, I used to see, my office was on the first floor and I could see everybody who is coming out and all doctors. So I have seen some of the doctors coming out of the office, and the moment they see that my staff car is there, they used to go back to the hospital, thinking that commandant is still there. How can we leave the hospital? So one day I called these officers. I said, look, your call of duty is up to 5 p.m. If you have finished your job up to 5 p.m., you go home. Don't worry about my staff car, because I have got many other responsibilities. Firstly, I do OPT, I go in the cath lab, I see the patients, I treat the patient, and then I come back to my office to do the administrative work. Therefore, I have to combine the work. I cannot go home 5 o'clock. Let you people go. If you have finished your job, you go. I used to leave till 9 p.m. And that was the sort of thing. And one thing more I will tell you.
Yes, sir, please.
In the first conference that I did for about 400 of doctors and nurses and paramedics, that was my first address on this first day of taking over. And I made a statement that you doctors and specialists are my left hand, and these nurses are my right hand.
Right.
So after the end of the address, during tea, some of these officers, medical officers, specialists came to me, Bola, sir, you seem to have degraded us as making our left hand. And you have nurses, you are saying right hand. How do you say that? I said, look, the right hand works more than the left hand. The nurses, you see a patient, you operate on a patient for 1 hour. After that, who looks after? 23 hours. Next day, when you come for the round, 23 hours, these nurses are looking after.
Definitely.
They are recording all the parameters.
Right.
So they are the right hand. Don't feel offended. You are the right hand, they are the right hand. Now, this statement that they are the right hand, the nurses were so enthused that they said, my God, we have got a commandant who has got such a feeling for us. I said, that is a true feeling.
Right, sir.
There were instances when, we wanted to, those days, to air condition the things like that. So I said that the nursing officers mess will be air conditioned first, and then the officers mess. I said they work so much, unless they take rest, they will not be fresh to do the work again. So I did that, and my officers, they all realized he is truly helping them to get best out of them, because they are the one who give the patient all the time.
So one thing more, so in the current trend or in the current scenario, it's been seen that the doctors who are being passed out from AIMS or KGMC or PGIMH, Chandigarh, why they are getting migrated to other country? Why they are now hesitating to serve our own nation?
More money. That's all. Nothing else. I know a lot of the doctors from KGMC. In fact, one of my, who much later, who was a junior officer and later become the DGFMS, he is now the Vice Chancellor of KGMU. He was the Director General. The KGMC, all the postgraduates who are in Lucknow, where they joining? They are joining Sahara Hospital. You know Sahara Hospital?
Right, so we know Sahara also now
Yeah.
is
So
also
all
there.
this, they are giving more money, so they go to Middle East, because Middle East they get a lot of money.
So now
Lot of money.
don't you think that government should also increase the salary of the doctor so that our
They say, look,
product should not
in
leave the country?
our profession, some social commitment is inbuilt. You can't be like, unless you have that sort of feeling in you that I must do something for the society, the best profession. Nothing can, money cannot compensate you. You have got a
Right.
privilege.
But now in the current scenario, you can say a lot of the violence our doctors are facing from the
Happening,
patients or the other scenarios.
yeah.
So that
It's
thing
happening
distress them also.
because of two things:
Mhm.
lack of communication.
Okay.
When I was the head of these big 1,000 bed hospital,
Okay, sir.
sometimes complaint used to come from emergency. Most of these complaints are in emergency.
Right,
You take
right.
your father or mother during emergency, you find there is something, and then the problem comes. So I had made a rule of 5. In my
Okay.
hospital, I had made rule of 5 very prominently displayed. The rule of 5 was: number 1, a patient in emergency must be attended to by a doctor within 3 minutes. Within 3 to 5 minutes. A doctor must see. Within 3 to 5 minutes. Second, quickly assess his problem. Is he breathing well? Has he got a high fever? What is his pulse? What is his BP? You do it yourself. That is another 5 minutes. You do the clinical assessment. What is the level of consciousness? What is his temperature? What is his pulse? What is his blood pressure? 5 things you monitor. Third thing, put him on monitor. Monitor where you see the ECG, blood pressure, and other things are nowadays.
Okay, sir.
Give the patient oxygen. Maybe 2 liters, 3 liters per minute, but put the patient on oxygen and give an IV line. Now, if these 5 things you have done, the attendant who is watching the patient, he knows that doctor has immediately seen my patient.
Right.
He has examined. He has put the monitor. He has given oxygen. And he is giving IV fluid. What you are giving in IV fluid, he doesn't know. It may be saline, it may be glucose, it may be anything. So once you have done 5 things, the relatives who normally complain against the patient, they are very happy everything has been done. The doctor saw it within 3 minutes, did everything, monitor. And mind you, when I put these 5 things, rule of 5, the complaint was 0.
That's very nice.
Henceforth, no complaint. What is the complaint? Now you see, you are in the press and media. What is the complaint? Is that my patient was very sick. It was not seen by doctor in half an hour. The doctor didn't see. It took 30 minutes or 1 hour to see the patient. By the time my patient deteriorated and died. Second thing, the complaint is oxygen was not given. I'm telling you the complaints which are there. Oxygen was not given.
Okay.
He was not put on monitor. No drug was given. And the patient died. So I said, these are the 5 things you do. That I did in Army Hospital, and the complaint was 0, that I told you. This is what everywhere it has to be done. And there is a meaning, there is a scientific explanation for all this. Why you should do it.
Right, sir. Very nice, sir. Very interesting. And, the handling of these kinds of the complex situation, definitely it can only be done by the people like you. Sir, one thing more, any incidents in your life which has happened and it has just transformed your mindset? Any of the incidents in your life?
Look, God has been very kind. I never had a moment of frustration in my life. I never had. I was the only person. In my generations, nobody had joined army. And mind you, in armed forces is a pyramidal service. Base is broad, apex is only few people. I reached the apex. There was a lot of competition. I had no my bap in the armed forces. How do you do it? Only thing is that I did was that I made myself competent and indispensable. You know the indispensable, that, oh, he's the one. If he's not there, things will not happen. So I made sure that, and there was not a moment of frustration. I did everything. I was given Padma Bhushan.
Right, sir.
Very rare for armed forces. Only few people got it in
Definitely,
the history
sir.
of armed
It's one of the most rarest one that any medical professional has received.
And you told, it's much higher than Padma Shree.
Right.
Yeah, it's much higher than Padma Shree. You have seen that every year 80 or 90 Padma Shree are given.
Every year, I think 80 or 90 are the Padma Shri.
But Padma Bhushan is only
are just 4 or
15
5.
or 16 and few, So it's very, and that was all because silently people are watching you also, what you are doing.
Right, sir.
Your bosses, maybe your chief, your minister, your president. I was a physician to the 3 presidents, Shankar Dayal Sharma, K.R. Narayan, and Dr. Abdul Kalam. I was their physician. And nobody just gets to become the physician to the president just by miracle. Your name is there. Your all biodata they peruse, and then only become. I am very happy that the country and the president honored me with this, and that is the greatest achievement that I have in my life. Money is not a big thing in life. For us, those who have served in armed forces, we know how to live within the limits of our requirement. We have limits.
So one thing, though, many of the comments I'm receiving, one of the comment is that sir is born brilliant.
No, not brilliant. Look, brilliance is, of course, there is no doubt about it. But brilliance comes by constant working and a vision. You have to develop a vision. Why my professor told me that now your frequency and my frequency is same. Can a professor make a comment like this? And this is the comment he gave. And therefore, it is the culmination of the training. So you have to work very hard. You have to understand things. Yeah. So it comes by, but I had no frustration in my life. Never.
That's very nice. What will be your message to the current generation who are watching this show? Because nowadays our young generation, they, just in a second they get frustrated, they get irritated, they get negative thoughts in the mind. So, sir, what you will points or tips you will suggest?
I will tell them that doesn't matter where from you have got your degree. Most important is to become competent. If you have not competed All India Institute or IIT, nothing to worry. From an ordinary engineering college also you can excel. Now, who is the chief of this Nadella? Is he from IIT? He's not. He's not from IIT. He's from a regional engineering college, but by his sheer hard work and experience and vision, he is now head of Microsoft. He's not topper of any IIT, no.
Right.
So it's the hard work. That's very important. From an ordinary medical college, from an ordinary institute, you can become great by your vision, by your hard work, sincere hard work. Honesty is very important. That is not happening. That's the problem. Honest. You be honest to yourself, be honest to your friends, be honest to your profession, and develop. That is the message I will give.
Definitely, sir. It was really, sir, a very highly motivational session and talk with you. And so your entire life journey in every steps of your life is really an inspiration for everyone, sir.
I don't know, but I will only sum up by a small Sanskrit sloka.
Bilkul,
Of course,
sir.
I have written that, and that says, "Kam maya evayang purusa iti sa yatha kamo bhavati tat krutar bhavati yat krutar bhavati tat karma kurute yat karma kurute tad abhi sampadhyate." The English translation of this says that you are what you deep driving desire is. So I will advise all my young people in India that you have a desire. You must have a desire. Deep driving desire, a desire to drive you, that you must have. Secondly, as your desire is, so is your will. Your will is driven by your desire. And as your will is so, and as is your will, so is your deed. Your work is like your will, that drives your work. And your deed, that is your work, drives your destiny. So this has to be understood.
Really a very
This has to
beautiful
be
thought
understood.
of inspiration, sir. So nice of you, sir, and we are really lucky to have you, and we are really thankful, sir. Apne, you have given us this 1 hour time and a very inspirational talk session of your entire life. And I think much more we have missed because your journey of entire life, it could not be covered in this 1 hour of the session. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much,
So
sir.
nice of you. So nice of you for giving me this honor and being with you. And I hope those who are listening to our program will get inspiration from me to make their life bright and happy. And that I wish all of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So here we end this section, and it was really a very motivational session, the life journey of our Honorable Shahi, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing the time. Here we end up this session.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.